Well, it's not every day that a Fox News host actually pushes back on a MAGA Republican and their lies, but I have to admit, I am pleasantly surprised, and I emphasize pleasantly today, because earlier, live on Fox News, one of their hosts pushed back on Republican Senator John Barrasso from Wyoming, one of the two Republican senators from that state. And to contextualize the clip a little bit before we play it, recently the Republican-led House of Representatives impeached the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. They're trying to impeach him for his role in the border, which makes no sense. He is not responsible for any problems we're having at the border right now. And even the Fox News host kind of recognized that in this clip, and he pushes back on the senator saying, hey, you don't have the votes for this. This is political theater. What are you doing here? This makes no sense. Why are you wasting everybody's time? Is essentially what this Fox News host was saying to this Republican senator. And it's actually a good point, which you don't really hear from Fox News all that often, right? So I'm going to play that clip for you. I think it's really good. But before I do so, make sure to subscribe down below. It goes such a long way. I greatly appreciate it. The support means the world to me. And now here is that Fox News clip from earlier today.
If the president, likes his Homeland Security Secretary, he serves at the pleasure of the president. The president isn't going to do anything about him. You're not going to get these votes in the Senate. You don't even have all your Republican colleagues going along. 6 didn't even want to be any part of this. So this seems more political theater than anything else. Disavow me of that notion.
Well, I don't agree. The United States House of Representatives has impeached a member of the cabinet for the first time in 140-some years. To
All
me,
Republicans.
there is credible evidence.
Yeah, surprising, right? When I first watched it, I was like, wow, this is actually a good point. I actually, dare I say it, agree with a Fox News host that, yes, this is political theater. Nothing more, nothing less. You know, Republicans are continuing the sham to try to get a headline. They're trying to connect Mayorkas and Biden to the border, and they kind of see this as the avenue to do it. And they want a headline. They want to say, Senate considers, impeachment of Alejandro Mayorkas because of border, and they want that to run on Fox News and all these other Republican outlets so they can further push a narrative. But we all know what the end conclusion is going to be here. We don't even have to trial in the Senate. He's going to be acquitted. He's not going to be removed. The impeachment effort and the removal is not going to be successful. The Republicans know that. As the Fox News host pointed out, even members of their own party are not on board with this, right? You already have people saying this makes no sense. Republican members of the House, Republican senators, Republican commentators like himself. It just doesn't have the support necessary. They know that it's a waste of time. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of energy, but they're going forward with it anyway because it is political theater. What a great way to put it. It is. They're using this to try to push this narrative that somehow Joe Biden and Mayorkas are responsible for the border, which is nonsense because there are global factors that play into borders and why people leave their home countries and go to other countries. It's not because Joe Biden came in and suddenly was like, yeah, let's just open the border, right? That's utter nonsense. But actually, a pretty good point. I have to be honest. I have to give credit where credit is due. Good point by the Fox News host that it is a show. It is political theater. But I do think that this whole impeachment effort speaks so loudly about what the Republicans' role in politics is today and their views on the border. In terms of their role in politics, they're still continuing their Biden sham impeachment, right? They're still doing that, surprisingly. Even though this investigation and their claims have been debunked time and time and time again, James Comer is still going out there every single day, embarrassing himself, pushing lies that we all know are lies every single day. And we all know it's going to fail. It's not going anywhere. Same with this. We all know that there's literally no evidence to suggest what they're pushing with Mayorkas, which would be a high crime and misdemeanor as required by the Constitution. They know that. We know that. We all know that. They're still going forward with it anyway. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of taxpayer money. A lot of taxpayer dollars are going to get wasted because Republicans are chasing a headline. I think that is perfectly representative of their party nowadays, just wasting the American people's time, wasting our resources to try to push something that helps them. Look, you and me, right? Mayorkas getting impeached doesn't do anything for you and me. It doesn't lower our healthcare cost. It doesn't fight climate change. It doesn't expand healthcare. It doesn't stop firearm violence, things like that. None of that, right? It doesn't stop any of that. It doesn't help you and me. It helps the Republicans. That's their entire objective here. Polling, maybe, some fundraising, I don't know. It's just a sham. It's not going anywhere. They know it. And that's what's so frustrating about Republicans in government. It is impossible to legislate and get things done for hardworking Americans out there when we have this stuff going on. Like the fact that this is going to occupy our time when legal scholars across the board recognize how much of a ridiculous effort it is so frustrating. Because there's people out there who genuinely need help, but the Republicans are like, Marjorie Taylor Greene is like, we're going up to her like, please, can you like actually get back on track and start doing stuff for us? He's like, shoo. I have a impeachment to do. I have a headline to get. God, it's so frustrating, isn't it? But also on the border, right? This is all because of the border. They're claiming that somehow magically, mysteriously, that Biden and Mayorkas are somehow responsible for the border and they're the people who did it. And they caused the crisis and whatnot and what have you. But they are also the same people who are standing in the way of the border bill being passed. Right? Joe Biden, with Republican senators and Democratic senators, came to an agreement on a border bill that invests in Border Patrol, state-of-the-art technology for the ports of entry at the border, investing in immigration courts to process claims quicker because there's such a backlog right now. A good bill that both sides of the aisle agree with. And these are the same people that sank it. They're the same people that said, kill it. Donald Trump killed it. He brags about it. He says, please blame me at his rally when he's talking about this border bill that Democrats and Republicans came up with. He says, please blame me. They're the ones who killed it. This impeachment sham doesn't do anything on the border. It changes literally nothing about our border, whereas a border bill that both parties agreed on does. It actually changes something. And they're in the way of the thing that actually does something. So representative of the Republican Party nowadays, the MAGA Republican Party, MAGA Republican senators like John Barrasso, standing in the way of progress in favor of political shenanigans, political theater. God, it's so tough, as I just mentioned, so tough to have legislators like this when we really want to get stuff done and actually address the issue, and they simply will not let us address it. Like, again, I want to remind you, Speaker Mike Johnson, the top dog in the House of Representatives, crazily enough, said that $14 billion for Border Patrol is not going to help. Not going to help. He said funding them more, hiring more officers, hiring people specifically to deal with different issues won't help. But this impeachment sham somehow magically impeaching Alejandro Mayorkas is going to help. Such a joke. It's such an embarrassment to the United States. And that's a strong criticism. I recognize that is a strong thing to say. But it is true. I like when I listen to these Republicans block real policy in favor of this stuff, it is like, it is embarrassing. It is embarrassing to have these legislators be in, very powerful positions with a lot of influence, and they're not using that influence correctly. They're using it to help Donald Trump. This, and that's another point on this matter that I'll end with, that this is a Trump impeachment. He was on Truth Social advocating for this, and the Republicans pick up the phone. Donald Trump was on the other end, and they're like, yes, sir, we'll impeach him. You got it, bud. It's all you. We do everything for you. You got it. We'll impeach him now. And then they hung up the phone, and then they went and did it. This is a Trump impeachment of an administration official that makes no sense. Don't vote for people like that, right? Don't vote for people who put their politics and their party ahead of progress in the country. It's a simple kind of rule of thumb, I think, that Republicans struggle to follow, MAGA at least. But don't do that. Don't vote for people like that. So anyway, really great to see a Fox News host kind of flip the script on MAGA every once in a while. It happens once in a blue moon, once in a fortnight, maybe, if we're lucky. So always great to see, always happy to see, and I'll try to share that whenever I do see it because it is pretty great, and I could watch this stuff all the time. It's always pretty entertaining. So I will leave it there. Thank you so much for watching this video. I greatly appreciate you. Make sure to subscribe down below. It goes such a long way. Drop a like on the video, comment, let me know what you think about it. Share the video with anybody you think needs to see it. And as always, I greatly appreciate your support. It means the world, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.